like, when did you become interested in geropsychology? And if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. And then, how did that come about? Like, what intrigued you about that particular like area of focus in college or wherever you found that?
Yeah, so actually, it's people are so shocked to hear it, but I got my doctorate degree in clinical psychology. So there's like lots of years of training. And to become a psychologist, like you go to graduate school, you have internships, practicums, right, like fellowships, all of these things. And working with older adults and learning about older adults is like hardly any of it. I hope this changes in the future, but what a lot of people don't realize is whatever fancy initials are behind somebody's name, like that just tells you they've got the basic training. Like if you think about a human being and everything that you would need to know to give them great care, it's going to be impossible to actually be a specialist in that area. So when I was going through graduate school, I had like half a day on working with older adults, and dementia was not even like a thing that was focused on or talked about. And it was only when you get on the job, like training experiences, I started to notice a group of people that we didn't really give extra attention to or special attention to. We were treating them like everybody else. And I was noticing it seemed like we were missing the mark. Like, for instance, my one of the areas when I was first starting getting my training, I wasn't a psychologist yet, but I was getting my training experience. I worked in a forensic hospital where there were people considered in Arizona guilty except insane. We do support groups a lot. And there was one person in there who was much older than all the rest. And it always seemed like he just wasn't really invested, wasn't really getting it, wasn't really like almost people kind of like stayed away from him, didn't really engage with him. And like, well, he couldn't barely even hear what we were saying, like where he was positioned in the group. And so it made me start thinking, like, what are all the other ways we aren't meeting this need? And so it kind of planted a seed. And then after an internship, you have to go and get, well, you don't have to, but you probably should go get a fellowship depending on your area. So I decided to take a fellowship with a heavy focus on geriatrics, geropsychology, because I was like, I don't know if we're actually helping this group like we should be. And that
Like,
just
and
changed my whole life.
how many people were in that class? Like, was it just like, was it you and like the professor, or like, was it actually a pretty, like, because I feel like you said, to your point, is like, this is like, and I've always felt this way too. I'm like, I never once came across this industry in college, and no one ever talked about it. Like, and I feel like most people I talked to like kind of just stumbled into some sort of like
Yes,
senior care world, but
exactly.
not because it was like a focus, or not because people were trying to attract talent to it, or attract people that had an interest in it.
Correct. Like I wouldn't have even really realized that this was an area for me to focus on or an area of people who truly needed help if I wasn't realizing like what is it about this person that like nobody really seems to be wanting to talk to. He doesn't even seem to be noticing what's going on in the group. Like and it was something so simple as like he can't even hear us. Like has anybody checked his hearing? And so that was like a big aha, and it made me realize like wait, I just went through like 12 years of school and older adult challenges and situations and diseases that are prevalent in older adult communities like got no attention. And I totally understand it, like they have to like teach the basics, but at the same time that means the people who are caring for the older adult community, a lot of them don't have specialty training, and there's not like a requirement. They're getting their training as people are coming through the door.
Hey guys, thank you so much for making it this far. If you'd like to watch last week's episode, click here. If you'd like to watch more exciting content on senior care, click here. If you'd like to learn how to open up your own adult daycare, assisted living, or home care agency, click here, krischanna.com. This is for all those senior care entrepreneurs out there. And let's get back to work.